Hi everyone, I want to bring you a guide for the new Undercity of KURAST feature that is coming in Vessel of Hatred. I've been playing the early access for a long time, and this is one of the things I have also tried out quite a lot. So what you need to know about the KURAST Undercity is that this is actually a very good speed farming, target farming, and leveling tool. So the way this works is that you go in, there are 3 floors to clear, and you have a timer. You can see this on the top right of the screen. It ticks down, and if you reach 0, then you will be kicked out. You will get some rewards, but you will lose out on most of them. So the idea is you get through this as fast as possible. You try to stack up extra timer from defeating certain elites. You can see them on the minimap here. These are these so-called afflicted elites here. So they also have this tag here, and they have this orange like timer icon, the hourglass icon here. So you can see the entire map revealed, including those elites that you have to defeat in order to get more time. And then you also want to fill up this blue progression bar here. So everything that is blue here is rewards based, and then everything that's orange is time based, so to say. And about the blue bar, this is basically an extra reward that you stack up as you progress through the different floors. And there are these blue like brazier flames that you can click, and it spawns a bunch of monsters. It's like a kind of mini event where you have to defeat some elites, and sometimes there's a bit more stuff going on, like a few waves that you also have to defeat in that time limit. And then at the end there will be a boss fight after 3 floors. So that's kind of the TLDR of how the KURAST Undercity works, and it allows you to actually get a lot of really interesting rewards so they can't really target farm otherwise. There's also some other cool extra loot that you can get. For example, here from the goblins, there's the so-called portal prankster that you saw here. So you can see them also on the minimap as you go down there. They appear on the minimap, and then this guy here. This is not a normal goblin. This guy actually spawns like multiple portals that you can see here, and then he runs from portal to portal, and you have to kind of try to chase him down and defeat him. There's no loot in the KURAST Undercity. You get everything at the end, including what you get from the goblins. You see here, for example, after defeating the goblin, you have like this little pop-up here that says the stolen treasures await in the boss's lair. So you get an extra chest at the end. There's nothing here that slows you down. This is similar to like a pit run, for example. There's nothing that drops here. You just kind of go through it, and you get extra time, and you get extra rewards for stacking up this blue bar. Now, when we played the early access, this was buggy, and we didn't actually really get to see how rewarding it is. But there is a lot of target farming you can do with the KURAST Undercity, and this is really where it comes in the late game, I think. So I can show this off here right now. These are the so-called tributes that you can earn. These are consumable kind of key items. There's this new key inventory now for your sigils and so on, and this is where they go as well. First of all, beware, if you salvage all sigils, you will salvage these things, so you want to favorite them in that case, at least those that you want to use. And you can go to the KURAST Undercity, the brazier here. This is the spirit brazier. This is in the town where you start the run, and they can optionally include a tribute or a bargain. And now what they do is they make the run a bit harder, so you start with less time and you get less bonus time for defeating elites. So in general, you just kind of need to go faster. And then you also get a bonus reward. So in this case, for example, this Tribute of Radiance offers Ancestral Legendaries, for example. If you complete at least Attunement rank 1. Attunements are these reward tiers from the blue flame, basically, that you stack up. This goes up to rank 4. And of course, you want to try to get basically all of those extra rewards at the end, or kind of like a rush through and maybe only get 3 ranks. I'm not 100% sure how rewarding it will be to go for the last rank, because it does take kind of like a full clear to get it. But maybe getting to 3 is pretty fast, kind of with everything on the way, and you don't have to go much out of your way. So as I mentioned, the rewards were not exactly working as they should have, and we don't know exactly how good it is. But either way, those tributes are pretty good, because they also allow you to, for example, get extra boss mats. There's also something like extra experience, so this is good for leveling up, for example, and certain things like that. And not only that, but interestingly, you can also change the items that drop at the end. So you can see this here right now. These are the bargains. So this goes into like the second slot here. After you select the tribute, you can also select a bargain, and then you add some extra like change to what drops for a cost. So you see this here, for example. You can do a core stats. Legendaries will possess a flat core stat affix when possible. This is not something that anyone will ever choose, I guess. But for example, there's passive ranks. So you spend some opposite, and then legendary amulets will always possess at least 1 passive rank affix. So this is extremely good. This will actually be much more costly. I think from the preview that we saw, this was very costly. But I mean, for the late game farming, this is going to be very powerful because the amulets, everyone knows, are very hard to get. So especially for solo self-farm players, I think this is going to be a huge benefit and something that we really can, dump your mats and your gold and stuff for these bargains and then try to just get a really good amulet out of it at some point. You can also similar stuff here, skill ranks for armor, skill tag ranks for like entire groups of stats and so on. Resistances if you need those early on, class uniques, off-class uniques, so kind of interesting stuff. And also really cool is, for example, here resource legendaries. Resource aspects in particular are always a bit of a problem. They are only available on jewelry, and if you need like a certain aspect for your build, then it's very hard to get it sometimes. So this can really help you out here. So the way that I imagine this to work is that this is something that you do very early on for leveling, and then later on, once you have stacked up a bunch of these tributes, there's like these different types and different qualities, and then you can like just do some runs here and there and get a bargain going as well. Maybe have like a really high chance to get like a specific item that you still need for your build, and you can like really target farm certain things that are kind of missing. So this is where that comes in, like very early game, kind of very late game, I think. And in between, you probably do a bunch of other stuff. All in all, though, the Undercity of KURAST is very good. And as you reach the end here, you see this here. There's like the portal. Basically, there's like 3-4 small floors, and then you go through the final portal to get to the boss fight. In my case, I managed to stack up the entire blue bar here, as you see. And then also when you go into the boss room, you have no timer anymore. So you have as much time as you want. Realistically though, you should do this on a difficulty where you can also blast down the boss pretty fast, since the whole thing is about, speed farming and going fast and so on. You always make sure that you don't like spend 5 minutes on the boss or something like that. This doesn't make much sense. So rather go on a difficulty where you like easily get through it and you don't have any issues. And now you'll see here, for example, at the end of the run, there's the chest for the tier 4 reward. So this scales up with the blue bar. And then there's also the prankster goblin chest here that drops us extra stuff. Yeah, as I mentioned, it didn't really have the exact rewards that it should have had, but this is going to be better when this goes live. And you can see this can be very rewarding. So here's one of those runs I've done, for example, on my high level character on Torment 4. And I selected like Exile boss materials as a tribute, and you see here that it can actually drop a lot of stuff here. So this was just like one run, and you got like, Shards of Agony, Shackles, you can summon all the bosses once basically, or something like that. And this was after one run only. So this was already pretty good, and there is similar, like you can get Ancestral Legendaries, you can get those amulets, you can get those resource aspects, and these kind of things. And I believe there's going to be a very good feeling feature, especially for people that don't want to engage in trading and rather want to grind out their own gear. Lastly, if you're wondering how to actually access the KURAST Undercity, this is part of the campaign quest. So this is like a one-time unlock similar to some of the other features like Infernal Hordes, where you have to do the quest line and so on. Somewhere in the campaign, you'll be sent to the KURAST Undercity, and this is when you get it. So since you have to play the campaign once anyway, this will be like just that basically. And then for alls, you will be able to access it at level 1 all the time. So you can actually use this as like a level up tool. You can like stack up those tributes, for example, with the extra XP that I mentioned. And this is like a really good way to get XP. There's a lot of elite density in here. So those give you the most experience. So you can just kind of like hunt down all those elites as much as possible and, get a lot of XP out of it. So it's like a relatively valid leveling strategy. It also seems to be a very good source of runes. As far as I know, you should be able to target farm or like, at least farm runes in general here. So this will be important for mythic item crafting, for example. You have to use runes for that, and also runes in general are pretty powerful like late game tools once you get like the right combos online with your build. So this is another really good source of them. And that's also about it already for the Undercity of KURAST. Relatively simple system, but it does have quite a lot of impact on how you're gonna use it for your character's gearing progression. So as I mentioned early on, you do leveling, later on you can do the target farming, especially like, once you have most of your characters set up. I think it's gonna be a very good tool to try to get like those last few items that you really need, and just like, target farm that glove with the extra core skill rank, or that amulet with the right passive, and these kind of things. So I'm very much looking forward to that and see how good it's actually gonna be. So hope you enjoyed this little guide. Stay tuned for a lot more Vessel of Hatred content. I've been blasting the press review client for almost 100 hours basically. So I have a lot of Spiritborn stuff coming, a lot of other things about the other game systems, and of course all the Max War guides that are going live very soon. Hope you enjoyed this, and see you guys next time.